talk about imposter syndrome. Listen, I'm 30 now. A lot has changed, yes, and we have introduced, as you guys know, for those of you that are watching, actually, a lot of new topics into the channel. First of all, why is that? Because one, I do what I want. Two, also, it's more of a lifestyle channel. So get used to seeing things, everything from wellness to spirituality, which is my faith, to talking about dating relationships, but most importantly, talking about our relationship with ourselves. And today's topic is no different. I'm going to be talking about imposter syndrome. This is something that I have truly dealt with. This is something that plagues people that are entrepreneurial in spirit, especially if you're a creative, or again, just if you are an ambitious person in general, you are going to experience imposter syndrome. So let's unpack that. So let's actually define what imposter syndrome is. I'm gonna look down at my notes a little bit here, and also I'm gonna have it on screen. Imposter syndrome is that sneaky feeling of inadequacy that creeps in when you achieve something great. You feel like a fraud, like you're not truly deserving of your success. I'm sure a lot of us can definitely relate to this. I can honestly say, with me being on YouTube now, I want to say 6 years, that I've definitely experienced imposter syndrome. I remember when I first started my channel, and as my channel was going, there were plenty of times where I kind of felt like my career was going on without me. And there were a lot of times where I felt unqualified. No matter how much I would read, no matter how well read I am and was, no matter how articulate that I am, no matter the fact that I'm talking about things that are based in fact, I still felt unqualified, especially when you add in the noise, right? When you are in the scape of social media, there's gonna be a lot of noise. You're gonna have a lot of people that tell you, I don't like your hair, I don't like your face, why do you have to talk like this? Why do you have to say it like this? Yada, yada, yada. But you add that into imposter syndrome and it really starts to weigh on you, where you start to actually believe some of those lies and you start to really consider and ponder, am I worthy enough of this experience? Is this person right? Do I not deserve what I have? And I'll even take it a step further. There have been plenty of times in my life where people like to carry on a certain narrative about me. Oh, I don't deserve what I have. I don't work for what I have. You know what I have to say to that? I'm sorry that I make it look so easy, but it is not easy. Let me be very clear. It is not easy. It is a lot of sacrifice, a lot of staying up till late at night. You know, my manager and I were up filming, podcasting till 3 o'clock in the morning after a long day, being in church, being in the studio, all the things. It's a lot of what you don't see behind the scenes. So the audacity of people to come in when you are reaping the benefits of the seeds that you were sowing, to actually be upset at that. But you have to be very mindful that things like this are going to happen. So why does imposter syndrome happen? Well, one, societal expectations. In our society today, we do tend to emphasize perfection, right? Like, we do like to see the highlights of people's lives. I mean, that's also kind of my job as well, but I think we're now stepping into a landscape, and we have for a while, where authenticity is everything. And I think that you can easily read on screen when someone isn't being authentic. Now, let me tell you this. A lot of people are, I don't think so, but you guys seem to think so, really good at faking the funk. And you'll be shocked. A lot of people are simply not who they present to be online, on Instagram, on YouTube. Their personality is also not really their personality. There's a lot of noise that goes on in the social media landscape. But in society, we do tend to emphasize perfection, because at the end of the day, it's not really the most attractive thing to see the negative things in life. People like to see joy. They like to see happiness. They like to see success. They also equally love to hate on it. They love to speculate on how you achieved it. And they also love to assume and make a lot of assumptions on whether or not they feel that you actually deserve it. So this obviously can create realistic pressure and also unrealistic expectations. Some people take it a step further, where they began to create a character that they can really sustain. And then that also can create imposter syndrome. Number 2 is perfectionism. Well, obviously this goes without saying. And I do remember reading at some point in my life that perfectionism is actually rooted in deep insecurity. And I'm not gonna lie, I am gonna agree with that. I do tend to be perfectionistic about a lot of things. And yeah, maybe it is rooted in the fear of, man, I really don't want to look silly. I really don't want to mess up. But I think the older that I become, I become okay with it. Like, you know what? Like even right now, me filming this random impromptu video. I haven't filmed a regular video, one in my car, in a very long time. Or really at all. Because you guys don't really know what I've been up to lately. We'll get into that in another video. But anyways, perfectionism. I don't really hold myself up to that standard sometimes. With everything. Because I'm like, you know what? I have an A- type of personality. You know how they have type A personalities? I'm like an A- personality, like my friend Les from the Balanced Black Girl podcast said. And I was like, wait, I so relate to that. Because, okay, I like order, I like structure, but hey, if it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done. I'm not gonna kill myself over it. And at the end of the day, the more closer I become in my faith, I become okay with not being perfect because the perfect one already paid the price for me. So I don't have to be perfect. Now, how's that? Next, we have the obvious, fear of failure. Yeah, I'm experiencing that right now. I mean, I experience it just about every other day. I don't want to fail. And in the end, I understand more and more when people say in their 30s that no one really knows what they're doing. Like, absolutely nobody. We're just going, just straight off of vibes. Vibes, matcha, coffee, tea. For some of you, vape pens and also edibles. I don't know what you're doing. But I implore you to not do that. But yeah, we're just figuring it out as we go. But the fear of being exposed also as a fraud. This is a big one. Are people going to Google what I say and try and research it? I mean, I also Googled it myself. So surely like what I'm saying is true. Are people going to comment and say like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about? Or like people have something to say about everything. But this fear can paralyze you and it will and can hinder your growth. You begin to feel like you're at a standstill here where you are factoring in every little thing that everyone has to say about you. That's also a part of imposter syndrome. You're kind of at your weakest point where you become more vulnerable, more susceptible to the feedback and the criticisms of people in the comment section, even people in your own life. Girl, do you even really have a job? Are you sure like you don't want to like try something else while you're pursuing what you're pursuing? I was in hot Pilates earlier today and I didn't use this Pilates mat that I've had for a very long time. And I looked down and there was a quote on it. And I believe it said something to the effect of, success is holding on when other people have to let go. And I go, no way. This couldn't be more relevant to me. Holding on when other people have to let go. And I even told my manager, because we speak all the time, I'm like, listen, I don't care what anyone else's story is. This is my story. This is my journey. This is our journey. This is our life. I don't care what life looks like for everyone else. I don't care what the 90th percentile says. Because one, I know I serve a God who could do anything and who works supernaturally. So I'm not in this realm. I'm not limited by the capacities of what we see here in the physical realm. I'm just not. My story is my story and it's unique to me. And I'm going to exercise my luxury of being able to do what I want and get paid while doing it. Y'all have to let go. I don't. I'm going to hold on to my dreams and the purpose that God has put in me. End of story. Okay. How to overcome imposter syndrome. That's right. We're already here because I'm not going to be before you long. Now, one is self-awareness, right? Recognize the imposter syndrome. Do you identify with any of the things that I was previously talking about? Realize when those imposter syndrome thoughts are creeping in. And honestly, journaling can be incredibly helpful, or just taking mental note. But documenting the process on paper really helps to get things out. There's something so releasing about writing it down and letting it go. And next, you want to challenge the negative self-talk that you have. Replacing those negative thoughts that you're having. You're not good enough. You're unqualified. You don't know what you're talking about. And instead of I'm not good enough, you can try I am capable and I am deserving of success. And I think even with thinking that, I used to be of the belief of I don't want to be cocky. I don't want to be conceited about it. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying that you deserve success. There's nothing wrong with identifying that you are more than capable. Because at the end of the day, success comes to those who actually are willing to work for it. Even though some people might have sucky personalities, not everyone that is successful maybe necessarily deserves it, but that's arbitrary. But it all comes with hard work, no matter what personality you have, no matter what end of the spectrum that you're on. There is no shortcut to success. Remember that. Next, you want to focus on your accomplishments. Create a list of your achievements, big and small. This is something I used to not do because I used to achieve. And then I got so desensitized by my own achievements and not wanting to celebrate it because for some reason in my head, I thought celebrating these achievements meant that was somehow going to stop me. Like that was the cap for me if I celebrated whatever I achieved. That's not true. We are human beings. And my therapist once told me, yeah, there's nothing wrong with having incentive. Hey, we go to our jobs all the time and we have the incentive of receiving money for it, right? We get paid for the work that we do. There's nothing wrong with operating on a system like that as well. Acknowledging your achievements, because if you don't, then who else will? Now, there's a balance between everything, right? Because some people really just want to clap. You're out in the club, partying and drinking and smoking, wrecking your liver for what? I don't know what we're celebrating. But journaling down your achievements is a very smart thing to do. Having little celebrations for yourself. Hey, you promised yourself you were going to get in the gym, you were going to get fit and sexy, you were going to be hot Pilates mommy, mwah. So you decided, hey, listen, I spent 2 weeks in the gym, let me go buy myself a little cute outfit. Let me show off this little booty. Okay. And then also seeking support, whether you have a therapist, whether you have a trusted friend, your parents even, someone that you can talk to about your feelings, because what's important is getting those feelings out. No man is an island, and we should not hoard the negative things that we are harping on because they're not true. Also try reading your Bible because, hey, the Lord is there, okay? He never leaves us. He never forsakes us. You know the vibes. And in conclusion, imposter syndrome is a common experience, but it does not have to define you. It doesn't define you. It will not define you. And by recognizing the patterns of imposter syndrome, by challenging the negative thoughts and building self-compassion, you can silence your inner critic and embrace your true potential. So I encourage you to share your experiences of imposter syndrome. Do it in the comment section down below. There's a lot of power in community and in support. So send this to a friend that you think can benefit from just hearing this little pep talk about imposter syndrome. Don't believe those lies that Satan's trying to put into your ear. You are not a fraud. You are not a fake, unless in the event, well, some people actually are, but that's another story. That's another video for another time. All right, guys, I'm headed off to a meeting. I'll catch you guys in my next one. Do not forget that I love you and God loves you. And I'll speak to you angels in my next video. Mwah.